What do you believe, but cannot prove? Around 1995 I was away in college. Broke up with a girlfriend and when she left she took the remote for the TV. I just figured I misplaced it. I moved back to my hometown a month later. Soon I bought a new TV and never thought about it again. About 4 years later we get back in contact, we were from the same geographic area. She drops by my new place for a coffee and after she leaves I can't find the remote for my, now new, TV. I search everywhere and in a crack under the back cushion on the couch I found the remote for the old TV. Never did find the remote I needed for the new TV. I'm sure she stole both of them and pulled the switcheroo years later. One of my best friends from middle up and disappeared with his entire family. Seriously. There one day, totally empty house the next. No phone calls, no texts, no social media. I'm convinced the whole family was in witness protection. That my sister-in-law was fucking my brother's best friend while he was in the hospital fighting leukemia. My brother died and the best friend moved into his house 6 months later. I went to a Guns N' Roses aka Axl Rose concert during the Barrelhead days, around 2006 I think. Anyway I'm about 99% sure that the singer on stage was not really Axl. I was such a huge fan so I'd seen them on this tour a couple times already. He looked like Axl and sounded like him but there was something off about it. Can't put my finger on it but I really think that it was a very good impersonator. Childhood friends stole my copy of Super Smash Bros. Melee. Haunts me to this day. Did they do it? I'll never know. That some people wait around until they see someone sitting or parked by themselves and then go sit or park close to them. I don't know what their goal is but it happens so many times there has to be something going on. Subway was much higher quality 20 years ago. Prince Andrew does actually sweat. I sold my Nintendo Wii for a profit as a kid. My parents bought it for $250 I sold it for $400 so I made $400 since it wasn't my money. I showed my uncle the day I got paid. Next thing you know I checked my money again that night because $400 was a lot for me and now it's only $200. I guess my uncle left me half which was generous. I can't prove this but he was arrested for breaking into a house and stealing some things so that leads me to believe that I was right. There is some culture on earth that has realized that denim is better for drying hands than both tissue paper and air dryers, and so has denim paper instead. Google Maps collects data on speeding, driving habits and sells them to insurance or another private company, even with location off. In the near future an app or social media site will be created that essentially functions the way labor unions were meant to function. It will cause upheaval. Places like Walmart and manufacturers will suddenly have to deal with flash strikes. People in general across the world want to live in peace. That what I see as blue is the same as what you see as blue. This may be provable, but I can't. Tom Brady destroyed his cell phone during Deflategate not because of evidence that he conspired to deflate balls but because he had evidence that his friend was cheating on his wife. That friend? Ben Affleck. Deflategate began on January 18, 2015. The first stories about Affleck cheating broke in June of that year. Brady destroyed his phone in March, presumably when Affleck's relationship with the nanny was in full swing and would have been broken had messages or photos from his phone confirming the affair had leaked. When you think about the situation, it's extremely unlikely that Brady had damning evidence on his phone. If he knew he was cheating, there was no reason to be so foolish as to put in writing requests to deflate balls when he could see equipment managers in person anytime he wanted. Conversely, if he wasn't cheating, there would be no reason to destroy his phone to conceal anything, although he might have understandably just wanted privacy. But what if instead, he had compromising material unrelated to Deflategate that he knew would get out of the notoriously leaky NFL league office? It could be anything, really, but it makes far more sense than Deflategate-related explanations. In that context, it makes a ton of sense that it might be related to Affleck given the timing and their closeness. Edit. Some of y'all are taking this real seriously. It's a fun theory that probably isn't true. Don't read too much into it. Intelligent life exists outside of our solar system. I don't believe this, but I overheard a friend talking roughly 2 months ago about how everything was fine until we raided Area 51. I once had proof, but that was a long time ago. Ex-best friend killed cats and mice. Wants to be a serial killer one day. It's terrifying, and since I'm no longer associate with them, I'm probably high up on the list for knowing. Add-on. Friend was serious about this. Wanted to use weapons made of molded ice so they'd melt away before being found on the scene. Add-on 2. Feel free to ask any question. Peas, thank you for the upvotes. Jim stole my Sharpie back in 9th grade. If you're reading this, Jim, fuck you. There are alien civilizations out there that are a million years ahead of us, a million years behind us, and everything in between. That I'll make it one day edit, for everyone asking what I'm working towards. I'm developing a platform that changes the dynamics of how we donate to charities right now, make it almost like a corporate company rather than a nonprofit. My premise is, if 30 years back you had to bet on either world hunger being eradicated or having a computer so small that it fits in your pocket yet so powerful that it could augment reality, you would have probably put your money on the former. But here we are, still struggling with global issues like world hunger, human trafficking and whatnot. I live in India, and almost at every traffic light there are these kids, probably 6 to 15 years old, begging. It breaks my heart because I feel almost helpless. These are kidnapped kids, and if I give them money or food it would only encourage more and more kids being dragged into this. NGOs are obviously doing their best, but most of the times they are limited by their resources. I want to change that. Beheaded people are alive some seconds after their heads are cut off. They just can't scream, no lungs, and are in too much pain and shock. That my mother hurt me physically on purpose. She was extremely verbally and emotionally abusive, and I have PTSD because of it and significant memory loss due to my brain blocking out the trauma, according to my therapist. A while ago I remembered this one morning from 6th grade when, after a long screaming match about me getting up late, we drove about 5 minutes to church, and when I got out of the car she slammed the door on my finger. She always said it was an accident, but looking back I just have a bad feeling. I remember just wanting to get away from her even though I was crying. It hurt like hell and she was saying sorry and trying to comfort me. I had a dent in my finger and it was completely black and purple for months. Pretty much stayed that way until the nail grew all the way out, and I still get weirdly nervous closing car doors 10 years later. That phones listen to everything I say during the day, stuff I type on messaging apps, phone calls I make with people. I already know they track my online activity, but I had a very heated argument with a friend. We're both fresh IT grads, and he vehemently refused the fact that phones could listen while idle. I've tried doing a ton of research but nothing shows up. I've done experiments when I've taken a friend's phone and we had a casual conversation about stuff that I'm interested in and he's not, makeup, fashion, etc., and within 5 minutes, he opened Instagram and got ads for those very things. I really believe there's some big revelation coming in the tech industry within the next 5 years, and it's not going to be pretty. That you can read in dreams. Everyone believes you can't, and it's such a dumb, baseless myth. I know for a fact that you can because I have, many times, and it bothers me that I have no way of proving it. And #X200B, edit, I am seeing a lot of people bringing up that it's not that you can read, just comprehend. Or that the text shifts and changes. So I need to clarify that while this has also happened to me, I also have very vivid memories of reading complete and coherent sentences in languages I can understand IRL while in dreams. And yes, I also partially blame BTAS for people believing this.